Baby, let's go. Alabama anthem. Don't throw your hands up. Put up your onion. I ain't talking about Atlanta. I'm talking about the ham. I'm talking about the deal. A-L-A-B-A-M-A. This what I live. Alabama while I was born. Alabama where I'm from. Alabama anthem. Don't throw your hands up. Put up your onion. I ain't talking about Atlanta. I'm talking about the ham. I'm talking about the deal. A-L-A-B-A-M-A. This what I live. Alabama while I was born. Alabama.
What's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard Sports Media, coming at you as I'm recording this on a Tuesday night. I want to go ahead and get this out of the way. I'm going to be honest. I hope this goes over well. I've been stressing myself out about this one in particular because this is the big game of the year, right? At least for the Crimson Tide right now. We'll see what these two teams, Alabama and Texas, do going forward. We don't know if they slip up. We don't know if they make the playoffs. We don't know if they possibly even meet again this year. Could we see that? Maybe. But for right now, we have an undefeated matchup in Austin, Texas, this Saturday, September 10th, at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. Alabama Crimson Tide #1 coming in 1-0, taking on the Texas Longhorns this Saturday at 11 a.m. Central in Central Time. You look back at what Alabama was able to do last week. They won 55-0 over Utah State. Texas won pretty big too, 52-10. Over ULM. So what I will say is this, is that both of these teams, I think it's fair to say, got a warm-up start to start the season, right? They didn't really play somebody. They played a bunch of what we call in this community in college football. And again, this is no disrespect to ULM. This is no disrespect to Utah State. Very good programs. But compared to Texas and Alabama, these two teams, they're cupcakes. They're nobodies, right? It's not competition for Alabama and Texas. But they both win big, scoring 50-plus points and giving up no more than 10. Alabama shut out Utah State big time. Texas gave up only 10 to ULM. You look at the quarterback matchup in this game, Quinn Ewers of Texas and Bryce Young of Alabama, a Heisman contender and a Heisman defending champion. And also another contender, obviously. We know all about Bryce Young. We talk about him. Also news, the Alabama $1 million ban to not travel to Austin, Texas for this game, apparently because of capacity. It's from what I'm hearing, going to be a sold-out crowd. There's not going to be enough room for the band, so it kind of sucks. We will miss the $1 million band and hearing Rammer Jammer if Alabama does win the game, and hearing the Yay Alabama fight song when they score a touchdown or take the field or anything like that. That's at least – don't take my word for it. I'm getting this from multiple sources. Via Alabama websites, I think like Bama Insider, the Alabama $1 million ban not traveling to Austin, Texas for the game. You look at Coach Nick Saban facing off against Steve Sarkisian for the first time. Nick Saban is 25-2 against his former assistant coaches. His losses to Kirby, of course, in the national championship. I credit Georgia there, and I give credit last year to Jimbo Fisher, who was the first to beat Nick Saban as a former assistant when the Aggies won. What was it, like 41-38 last year? Congratulations on the win, by the way. So this will be huge. Saban will either improve to 26-2 against former assistants if he wins, or if Texas can get the upset, Sarkisian being the head coach can beat Nick Saban and give him his third loss to a former assistant. So this is, gosh, I'm so excited for this game, man. I could go on and on and on. I got 3 key players again this week for each team. Let's start with Texas, right? And this is outside of the quarterbacks because we kind of talk about them, and everyone hypes it up about the quarterbacks. You know, Quinn Ewers versus Bryce Young. Obviously, you need offense today in college football, especially passing offense, and obviously you need a quarterback, right? So that being said, outside of the quarterbacks, let's take a look at what we could potentially look at this upcoming Saturday. So I'm going to start with Texas. I'm going to say Bijan Robinson. Is he the best running back in the country? Some are making it out to be. He's very fast. He's versatile. A Heisman contender, can do it all. I think definitely some O-line improvement if Texas O-line has improved this year, and we'll find out on Saturday just how good their O-line really is. If it has improved to the standard that it needs to be, it will definitely help Bijan Robinson have a tremendous game on Saturday against the Alabama Crimson Tide. So far, he's got 10 carries, 71 yards, and a touchdown. You look at some other guys for Texas. I want to stick to the defense here. I got 2 defensive guys, and I know we kind of look at the Big 12 and we say that they don't play defense. To a certain extent, that's true. There is a lot of offense, but don't take away anything from some players, right? So we want to look at DeMarvion Overshown, who had 8 tackles last week to lead the defense for Texas. So DeMarvion Overshown, 8 tackles last week, leads the defense there. And then Deshaun Jameson, who had 2 tackles and a pick last week. Not very many guys to choose from, but if one stood out, he had a punt block and a pick 6. I got to give it to Deshaun Jameson there. So, again, I mentioned the 3 key players for Texas outside of quarterback play. Watch Bijan Robinson, who can be a Heisman contending back. Watch DeMarvion Overshown, to be a middle linebacker who can create pressure, force third down stops, and then watch a guy to cover if any wide receivers for Alabama. Watch Deshaun Jameson, who had a pick and a punt block last week on special teams. Had not only a pick, it was a pick 6, if I recall. Moving right along, 3 players for Alabama. This is not an easy list to make. Disclaimer. I tried to. It was kind of wishy-washy. There's more than 3 players on both of these teams to watch this Saturday for sure. There's a lot of talent on both sides of the ball on both of these teams that did really good week 1 that I think are going to step up and that are going to improve and that are going to show just how talented they are and possibly could be. But we want to look at Alabama. Out of nowhere, man, my guy. Number 1, a wide receiver by the name of Georgia transfer, Jermaine Burton, top red zone threat. Had 2 touchdowns in the game last week, a 5 and a 2-yarder. He's a UGA transfer, as I mentioned. He just kind of went off. He's got great length, great speed, great, amazing route runner, can make the moves on defenders, can be the guy you need. And I think a guy that look, if Alabama's O-line is improved as we think it is, because it looked pretty good against Utah State. This is the first test for Alabama's offensive line. I think Texas could put up a good fight on the defense. If it is improved, give Bryce time in the pocket to kill. right? Give him time in the pocket. Jermaine Burton's going to be the guy that can go up and get the football. He's one of them. I mean, I could go down the list of some of these guys. Number 2 on the list for Alabama, I got to talk with Trayshawn Holden. I'm sorry. I'm getting excited. You can tell. Had 5 receptions last week for 70 yards, averaging 14 yards a catch, and had 2 touchdowns in the game alongside Jermaine Burton, also having 2 touchdowns. And Jace McClellan also had 2 touchdowns in that game. He made noise in 2021 spring game. Where has he been? I don't know. He was not a key receiver for us last year. He really wasn't. But this year is his year to shine as a junior. And I think he's going to be like not play like them, but just like, okay, 2020, we had a go-to receiver in Devontae Smith. He's the name. He's the guy, right? That's the guy everyone wants to throw to. That's the guy everyone wants to talk about. I think that's Trayshawn Holden this year. I think he's the one everyone wants to go after, that defenses are going to have a hard time defending. There's a couple other guys on there. Kobe Prentice, Isaiah Bond, Kendrick Law, Chase McClellan at running back. He even does a good job receiving himself. But Trayshawn Holden made noise in 2021 last year, at least in the spring game. I don't know where he was all season. He just couldn't find his way on the field this year in 2022, at least to start. I think he could be a guy that can break out, and I think you'll be hearing his name more and more as the season goes along. Number 3 on the list for Alabama, Will Anderson. No comment. As a whole, I think the defense was great. I don't think there's a clear star yet this year. I think it's Will Anderson and everybody else, honestly. When you look at it, when you talk about it, when you look at the defense. Now, guys I want to see step up, right? That's what I should be saying, is guys I want to see step up. I want to see more of Henry To'oTo'o. I want to see more of Dallas Turner. I want to see more from go back to the receivers. I want to see Shaz Preston, Kobe Prentice. There are guys I could mention that I want to see step up. There's not a whole lot of names in there that made a lot of noise this past weekend. I mean, there's a couple names that did multiple things very, very good, but it's still young, still a young team for Alabama, and there's still a lot of work to be done. And it's possible we see some new guys step up here in week 2. Even I'd say for Texas, again, I mentioned their 3 key players: Bijan Robinson, DeMarvion Overshawn, and Deshaun Jameson. And again, for Alabama, Jermaine Burton, Trayshawn Holden, and Will Anderson. So, that being said, there's a lot at stake, right, in this game. I say that I think it comes down to Baylor and Texas for the Big 12. Maybe I'm crazy, but I think, honestly, with Oklahoma having a new head coach and a transfer quarterback, and just it being it's an offensive league, but they got a defensive head coach in Brent Venables. When you look at the Big 12, I think Texas is a team to take a step forward. I think Baylor takes a step forward. I think a team like Oklahoma, who we're used to seeing in the Big 12 title, takes a step back this year. Oklahoma State, I'm not really sure yet. But Texas could do some big things under Sarkisian, and here in the next couple of years with Quinn Ewers at quarterback for the next year or so. And they're recruiting off the charts, of course, picking up a guy such as Arch Manning, a 5-star quarterback recruit. So, man, I really have gone through everything I've wanted to go through. There's just a lot of great offense on both of these teams, and even on the defense, even for a Big 12 team like Texas, they got some players. And I mentioned Deshaun Jameson. Watch out for him. Can he cover receivers for Alabama? And watch out for DeMarvion Overshawn, a linebacker who can lead the defense and probably be the guy to get through the offensive line and put pressure on Bryce Young. That being said, there's really not much else for me to go over. I think this is going to be a great game. I mean, wow. I've been hyped up for this all off season, and I hope it's better than I think it is. What else do you want me to say? So just comment below maybe some players that I'm missing, but I'm looking at Deshaun Jameson. I'm looking at DeMarvion Overshawn, and especially Bijan Robinson. I think the keys to the game, I think if Bijan Robinson can have a day for Texas and run that ball down Alabama's throat, if he can do that, he will lead Texas to victory. If not, Alabama will win this game. And I think on both sides, I think it'll be where if it's a one-possession game, it'll obviously either come down to who can score or what defense can stand up. Because I'll tell you what, I think Alabama could show that maybe if it is a close game, they are built to withstand a powerful offense. And when the pressure's on them, they can handle it. And I think for Texas at the same time, could they have that offense that could put a game-winning drive together? We'll definitely have to watch and see what happens. All right, that being said, it's time to get into predictions. Or a prediction. It's just me on here today. Definitely would have to do one of these with the Bama fan. Shout out to Millis Vanillis, X-Wing Sports, and all that. We'll definitely have to get some of you guys on some of these sometime. Here's the thing: what it comes down to. As good as Alabama's defense was last week against Utah State, that's not Texas. Texas is not Utah State. Utah State is not Texas. You're playing a Power 5 opponent this week. You're playing in the Big 12. You're also playing on the road in the Big 12 where stadium environments are loud, crowds are wild, big and crazy things and plays can happen at any given moment, right? I would not – look, here's disclaimer real quick. I don't care what the score is. I just want to see Alabama go in on the road and win this game. Me personally, I do kind of wish it's close because I hope this game does live up to expectation and lives up to the hype. I know Texas is unranked, which I think is ridiculous, if you ask me. But I hope it's close. I love a good college football thriller. I love them down to the wire. I love to see some action. I love to see overtime, potential we saw the other night with FSU, like a blocked field goal or something. I love craziness, down to the wire, wild endings. I hate blowouts. But at the same time, my Crimson Tide, man, I love to see some domination from them. Man, this is tough. I know what I want to see, but I don't think it's going to be what I expect it to be. Can I just go ahead and give you my score? I'm going to say Alabama does win. I think Texas can make it a game for 2.5 to 3 quarters, but I think maybe somewhere in the third or fourth quarter, I do think the Tide pull away. I got them winning. I'm going to stick with my Crimson Tide. I'm going to be confident and bold, and I'm going to say 45 to 23. I think this is kind of what the experts are saying, somewhere in there. I think there's if Texas wins, it'll be close. Bama could also win it close. I think you could have this somewhere between a 28-24 to something like this. I'm putting up what at most it could possibly live up to be. And that would be a 22-point deficit margin of victory for Alabama, right? Now, hear me out, Texas fans. I've kind of joked a little bit this offseason. Horns down, come get you some, blah, blah, blah. I have nothing but the utmost love and respect. Shout out to D4 Sports. I'm trying to think. There's not very many Texas fans in our community. But if you're a Texas fan watching this, hear me out. I got nothing but love and respect. I think Coach Sark is doing big things for this program. And I think that he's going to do big things at this program for the years to come. If he can just continue recruiting and he's an offensive mind, he can put the offense together. The question is, can he be consistent on the defensive side of the ball? The thing about it's not that this score right here, my thoughts and everything, come on. It's just a prediction. This isn't he's an Alabama homer, so of course he's going to pick Bama to not only win but blow them out. It's not. I expect this Bama team to, the hype is so real for a national title. They should get better every single week, no matter who they play. There's no knock on Texas here with the score prediction, outcome, thoughts, anything like that. There's no knock against Texas. There's nothing but love and respect. This is Alabama. This is who they are. This is what they do, no matter who they play, unless someone can step it up. I hope you step it up, Texas. I don't hope you win, but I hope you step it up. Prove me wrong here. Prove this right here. Prove it wrong. Make it like a 34-31. Play it closer. I hope you don't win. I hope Alabama wins, obviously, as a fan. If you do win, Texas, hear me out. Trying to think. If Texas wins, I'll come on here and sing the fight song or something. I'll sing the Texas fight song. I don't care. Right? I'll do that for you guys. And I'll give you nothing but love, respect, credit. And all I will say is this. If you win this game, please don't go from a 2-0 start to what ends up being 7-5 or 8-4. Do something big. 10 wins. 10 wins if you win this game. You know how bad it would look on Alabama's part to lose this game? And whether it's close or not, if they lose this game and Texas ends up being the mediocre Texas instead of something amazing and making a New Year's Six Bowl, man, that's all I got to say. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I love you. Again, nothing but love and respect for Texas fans. I'm pumped up for this game. I know College Game Day is going to be there. I won't personally be there. I'll be here at home watching the game, and we'll be live for it. It's going to be amazing. Again, nothing but love and respect for Texas fans everywhere. No hatred whatsoever. Horns, I joke about the horns down. I'll do it one time for you. How about this? Horns up. Good luck. Hook 'em. Whatever you want to hear, right? Is that what you want? I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be the nice guy here. I don't hate Texas. No, I never have. In fact, I've always pulled for you guys, even in like the Red River showdowns. And I personally love Steve Sarkisian. I think he's a great coach. I want to see him do big things. I want to see him do great and do some big things for Texas. So I just hope it's a great game. Again, I got nothing but respect for Texas fans everywhere. I love you guys. Jesus loves you. Please keep your head up. Please like, comment, and subscribe right here to Ballard Sports Media for more sports content. And until next time, folks, Ballard Sports Media, check it out. Let's have a great game on Saturday, guys. Woo! Roll Tide, baby.
Let's go. Feel my anthem. Don't throw your hands up. Put up your onion. I ain't talking about Atlanta. I'm talking about the ham. I'm talking about the deal. ALABA, make this what I live. Alabama, while I was born. Alabama, where I'm from. Feel my anthem. Don't throw your hands up. Put up your onion. I ain't talking about Atlanta. I'm talking about the ham. I'm talking about the deal. ALABA, make this what I live. Alabama, while I was born. Alabama.